I can't. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So feels like a home game day.
Okay, Johannesburg Super Kings. Okay.
Yeah. So is FAF Super Kings now or a Royal Challenger? So that question remains.
I think in heart he'll always be a Chennai Super King.
So
So that's something no one can take
yeah,
away from him because of the relationship the franchise has had with him.
yeah, yeah. He also talks very fondly about his association with Super Kings in his autobiography,
Hmm.
especially his relationship with Stephen Fleming, how it really helped him to mature as a captain of the South African team. So
Yeah.
yesterday we were talking about the various advantages of playing 2020 cricket,
Hmm.
but the one of the biggest advantages is to play under Dhoni, or be coached under Ponting.
Hmm.
These kind of things really expedites a player's career in terms of how they think about their batting or their personality or the purpose why they play the game, right? So there are so many ways these coaches and the captains that they get to play under. They
Hmm.
get so much of knowledge because these players usually don't play county cricket or Ranji Trophy or any other ways to kind of percolate down that knowledge. Domestic 2020 these cricket tournaments have been a great platform for that.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, the lot of captains. I mean, It was more like it was normal with a lot of captains, but with Stephen Fleming, you could see that there was something different happening. That he's someone who thinks about the game differently. For example, he'll have a couple of fielders back to back at short leg for Shane Bond. As an Indian fan, it was a nightmare for us because of how fast he bowled and how incapable some of our batsmen were against his type of bowling. But Stephen Fleming, even as someone who is growing up watching cricket in those days, he's someone who inspired a lot as someone who could be able to think about the game in a different way. I think that is also rubbed on Faf as well, and no wonder the teams that he has worked with, be it Melbourne Stars or Chennai Super Kings, they have all been so successful.
Yeah, so it's good to see Faf like the bowler captain, he would be playing straight away.
Uh, so I think the net connection broke in between. What are you saying?
No, I was just asking if, like the bowlers yesterday who got a break, Kagiso
Hmm.
Rabada and Lungi
Hmm.
Ningadi, that
Hmm.
they just traveled back from Australia. I mean, they've just traveled back from the Australia South Africa series. I don't
Hmm.
know whether the same privilege would be given for BPL players who are returning,
Yeah,
like Faf,
I
for
maybe.
example.
Yeah, batters. It's also easier for batters to adapt, so that might be taken into account, I guess. But this match, I don't expect it to be as crazy as it was yesterday, where we literally froze after the playing 11s were announced for like 10 minutes yesterday. I don't think it will happen today. It's a lot of spinners. I mean, even those who were part of it were Simon Hammer, Maharaj, or spinners. I think they'll be able to play this match with a lot more ease than it would be for someone like Rabada or Nokia.
Yeah, very true. Harmer and Maharaj did bat together to save the test match. So Maharaj
Hmm.
scored a 50-yard and Harmer scored 47.
Hmm.
So they were the ones who were batting together for the seventh wicket. It's good to see them back playing in this, and looks like win.
I'm not sure if the problem is
Are you
at
there,
my
Al?
end or not, but like I'm not able to hear you. The video is constantly interruptions. So
Okay. So let me
hmm,
see what I can do to my internet. All right. Is it any better now? I've tethered to my phone.
maybe I'll need a couple of
Is the
minutes to confirm. Yeah, but I
video
think
okay now?
we can try this. Yeah, yeah. Screen just freezes in between, so I'm not able to hear
Okay.
anything.
Let me I just want to make sure that things are okay at
Hmm.
I just run a speed test. As we are, looks like, yeah, my internet seems to be okay.
Okay, then it could be a problem from my
So am
end
I
as well.
coming out okay now? Shall we continue?
Yeah, yeah, it is better. Yeah,
Okay,
so far been better.
it's better now. Okay, so
Hmm.
let's continue discussing. It's to
Hmm.
support spinners, and it's not known for lot of boundaries and sixes, and also the first inning score is the par score is just 140 odd.
Hmm. I think Durban is a venue where you will find spinners coming into play. I think Maharaj in particular to that Durban to the Johannesburg top three, and Janeman Malan in particular. He's going to be really difficult to face. Malan even in general has a poor record against slow left arm spin. Maharaj will definitely open the bowling today, and it will be an uphill task for him to survive. And even in general, he can control. And once the power play restrictions are lifted, even Harmer could come into play big time. It's not an easy on a deck like that. Someone who has the experience of Harmer playing so close to like 10 to 15 years now, it'll not be easy for Johannesburg to deal with them. It'll be a surprise even if Johannesburg managed to even win today. So that's the extent of threat that they are facing from Durban.
Interesting. So let me stop my video and see whether that improves the feed or the
Hmm.
streaming.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm making sure I'm continuing to be audible, right? You can hear
Yeah.
me.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I shut down my video so that
Hmm.
now let me share my screen.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we was talking about Durban. So this is the point you are making, right? So both are
Hmm.
excellent spinners.
Hmm.
And we're talking about Pranalan Subbarayan. The
Hmm.
notes that I've read about him, he sounds like
Hmm.
Super Subbarayan. uh, so looks like they are a good spin duo, and
Hmm.
Durban being a very slow track with Maharaj. So these three could be among a lot of wickets during this season.
Yeah, it'll also be interesting to see what kind of bowling attack they play because they already have Pretorius, Holder, and Topley, giving them 12 overs of pace, who are going to be regular features in their 11 in the home games. So will they go for a fourth pacer like someone like Junior Dala or Kemopal? Kemopal is someone who could be as effective as a spinner on these decks, and he could also bat. He's a quite a capable batter as well. Or just keep him out and play a third spinner both Harmer and Prenal and Subrayan, or even someone like Akila Dhananjaya, the mystery factor that they have on the bench. Although he was picked as a wild card, they could also throw him into the mix today.
There's a lot of options for QDK
Hmm.
in the spin department.
Yeah.
Also, the middle order challenge you talked about how Matt Breach
Beats.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and Van Mulder would
Hmm.
struggle to deliver in Durban.
Yeah, it is not going to be easy for them. I think the onus lies on Heinrich Klaassen and Pretorius, the experience that they have, and even someone like Holder, the experience that he has playing on those West Indies decks. I think whoever plays in the middle order, I think it will be up to these three. No, it will be over to these three, Klaassen, Holder, and Pretorius to get the runs because even at the top, even Mayers and Quinton de Kock are not solid players of spin bowling. So it's not going to be easy for them, but I think where it's going to make a difference, where it's going to be making a difference for them is the bowling unit that they have.
Yeah, again talking about Klassen. Klassen plays one drop for the test team, right?
Mm,
He was a part of the South Africa Australia series.
yeah.
Yeah, he scored a 40 yard in the second innings, but he was bowled through the gate. There's a ball from Hazelwood,
Mm,
that cut back like an off cutter,
yeah.
and he was bowled. But other than that, he looked pretty good in the innings that he played, trying to bat to save the test match. So his 2020 form is good, and he is expecting to be one of the good players of the spin, so that he
Mm,
could
mm,
come his batting could come in bit handy today.
True. I think India have been at the receiving end of his skill set quite a few times right now. By now, I think Indian fans know how good he is. He's against spin bowling. One of the better players of slow bowling in South Africa. Is an exceptional record against slow left arm spin, although not as good with off spin and leg spin. I think he's still considering the alternatives that South Africa domestic cricket has. He's still one of their better players of slow bowling.
And when I read Junior Dala problem for my
Hmm.
Tamil nativity made me read it like a Junior Tala problem. So I thought probably you're referring to Rutraj Gaikwad there for a second. So he's a proper bowling option. That's when I started reading the notes.
Hmm.
I realized that we were talking about a different player altogether here.
Hmm.
So he's a good bowling option. I've not heard of Dala before. So why don't you talk to us about his potential?
Dala has played a few games for South Africa. He has always been in the national radar because of his pace and his T20 ability to ball Yorkers and stuff. But the thing with him is that he's inconsistent. On his day, he could be a world beater, but on most days, at the highest level, he could be conceding a lot of runs, which is why his transition hasn't happened after a point. So that's something that they'll be taking into account as well. I think Dala is someone who could play a role in Durban's away games in Centurion, Cape Town, and Johannesburg, but maybe at home he'll not be in the scheme of things. They already have enough pace bowling options to consider.
Yeah, so with that, let's look at my favorite sheet, so fantasy cheat sheet. Again,
Hmm.
viewers who are watching, you'll get access to all these sheets and notes if you're a subscriber of Covers Off on preseason. So just
Hmm.
download the preseason app,
Hmm.
and within the app, you will see subscription options for various creators, and you'll see Covers Off as one of the creators there, and you could subscribe, and you will start receiving the match sheets, venue guides, team guides, once you are a subscriber over an email. And we're also working towards launching coversof.ai. So do you want to briefly talk about that, Al?
Finally, we have a confirmation date. It's going to be Jan 15, and we'll be launching our website on Jan 15. It'll be completely open, and the early subscriptions are coming as well. I think in terms of Pongal, whenever we speak about Pongal, one of the things that relates to a Tamil, someone who watches a lot of movies is Pokiri Pongal. I think this is going to be something that's as big at least for us, for the team that's involved with covers of. It's going to be a huge occasion for us to launch our website this Pongal.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the Pongals which is going to see the release of both Vijay and Ajit heroes, right? Varisu and Valimai. Along
Mm,
with that, we're going to have a launch of a third hero, Al, with covers off.
mm. Yeah, I think
So
it's yeah. The build-up has been as big, at least. We've been building up to this for at least a couple of months now, as big as some of the promotions that those two teams have been giving.
yeah, it would have been interesting if if you could have had somebody watching the Australia South Africa game in Sydney and
Mm,
ask one of those like David Warner who fields in the boundary
mm.
covers off update, right? Like they're asking for Valime update to Moeen Ali.
Yeah, it's funny because that's actually happening. There's a lot of messages in in my Twitter account, on my social media accounts as well, on WhatsApp as well, asking about when will the yearly subscriptions finally come, because they've already started again. We have started SA20 on a high note with a lot of our subscribers winning enough money yesterday. So that's been a good start again for us with another tournament.
Yeah, brilliant. And just more and more tournaments are on the way. It's going to be exhilarating next few months. Looking forward to working with you on that, Al. So now
Same here.
looking at the fantasy cheat sheet, one of my favorite sheets. So I like this at QDK superstar, right?
Yeah.
So nothing more needs to be said there.
Yeah.
Uh, so he's gonna open with whom today?
I think that there are a couple of different opinions. Some say that it's going to be Kyle Mayers, but there is also the problem. You very rarely see two left-handers opening together, and they also have a backup opener in Johnson Charles. Will he play, and will that push Kyle Mayers to a role that he's not really comfortable with playing outside the power play? So that is something that remains to be seen. I think they'll still go ahead with Quinton de Kock and Kyle Mayers, and maybe have someone like Breezke number three and Heinrich Klaassen splitting Breezke and Mulder at four. So that's how I'm seeing it. But most of the mainstream think tanks are defensive, so there is a good chance that Johnson Charles could come into play as well.
Yeah. So, but looks like their batting order is something that's designed for the slow Durban pitches, right? Score a 120 strike rate, 40,
Hmm.
50 runs.
Hmm.
Looks like that would be enough to help them post a par score of 140, if they bat first.
Yeah, if you look at that, the depth that they have in the form of Pretorius, Holder, 6, 7, Harmer, 8, and Maharaj, all of these players could cause chaos in the lower middle order. As a bowling unit, you do not want to see them at the positions that they are batting for this team. You want lesser players batting at number 8 and 9, and not Harmer and Maharaj. So that's something that's going to always work for them. They are always going to get scores to 145, 150, 155, which is going to be enough for them at Durban with the likes of Maharaj and Harmer spinning a web around the opposition batters.
Yeah. So any bowler from Super Kings, they can pit against the left-handed opening pair of Mayers and QDK.
That's the problem with them. They're missing is a Mahesh Tikshna would have been a great option to have against these two players up front. But since he's in India playing against the home team, India in the ODI series, he'll not be available for this game. So all they have is Aaron Fangiso, who is a left arm spinner. I think if you give them an option of facing one of the spinners in the Durban track, they'll happily take a slow left arm spin, both Mayers and Quinton de Kock. So that's something that's going to work against them. And even the other spinner that they have, Neil Brand, who is another left arm spinner. So that they are short on options today, which is why Durban are favorites going into this game. Also, additionally, there is something that they could take hope out of is that on decks like this, even slow left arm spinners could be useful against left-handers. They'll not be as difficult to bowl as it is on, say, at Johannesburg or Cape Town, where you bowl left arm spin to a left-hander, powerful left-hander like Bayes or Quinton de Kock will get smashed. That's not going to be the case here. They could still bowl 4-0-24, one kind of spells on this deck. But it really depends on what happens with the other bowlers. They'll not be having the cushion of wickets to bowl with.
Yeah. So coming to the cheat sheet of Super Kings,
Hmm.
so we have really good batters, but Malan has problems against spin bowling, so his chances of being successful at Durban is quite bleak, right?
Yeah, it's really difficult. Maharaj plays, he opens, and it's going to be really difficult for him. I think the onus lies on someone like Hendricks and Faf Duplessis to make it easier for him to negotiate, take majority of the strike versus Maharaj, and let him take on the other bowlers. Instead, he has an exceptional record. Malan has one of the best records any T20 batter currently has against right arm pace and left arm pace. But they're not going to be of use on a deck like Durban. You need to be able to play spin well, and I think that's where someone like Faf Duplessis and Reza Hendricks come into play.
Yeah, and Verena, so he's a handy middle order bat.
Hmm.
So and also they have Ferreira who has got a really good strike rate.
Hmm.
So if the top order does its job,
Hmm.
between Verena and Ferreira, they're lower middle order and also with Garton, so they're quite capable of taking them to a decent score.
Yeah, and Louis Dupois as well. Dupois is someone who had an exceptional start to his 100 career, both last year and this year. He's been really impressive, and even for Derbyshire, the county that he plays in England, he's been good as well. His numbers have been very impressive. So that's something that they, although Durban do have an counter option to Louis Dupois today, which is Simon Hammer or Prenalan Subrayan, who are the off spinner that they play. But if Dupla escapes that off spinner, it's going to be they have a really solid middle order there with Varane, and who is a crafty player who could find access areas that power hitters normally don't access. So that's going to be difficult for opponent teams to deal with. And then with Luis Dupla at 5, adding the necessary left hand batting option, and followed by Ferreira, Spar, and Gart and Alzari, all of them being able to bat. So it's not. It's in general, it's a good team. But can they match Durban at their home venue? That's the question today.
Yeah, so Romario Shepherd also is quite handy with the bat. He scores those runs quite quickly. And also, look at his both batting strike rate and his bowling strike rate. Looks like a champion in the making.
Who is it? Romario Shepard.
Romario Shepherd.
Yeah, yeah. Romario Shepard, as we at his best, he's quite a decent all rounder, which is why he was picked up by Sunrisers in that auction, but he wasn't able to replicate the form that he showed in one of the CPLs. It has been difficult for him in bowling front, but batting, it's something that he has a lot of power, and if you miss your length, or if you do not have the pace to trouble him, then then you're looking at a lot of runs against bowling at him.
Yeah, so that's a talent to look out for playing for Super Kings. We have not had that kind of firepower like Trey Russell or Kyron Pollard, except for Dhoni, who would do the job himself. Now, Romario Shepherd looks like a good addition in for that space in the team.
Yeah. Someone who is at 8 and 9, you really do not want to have players like Romario Shepard coming in there.
Yeah, so I'm on the creator notes for the Joburg team.
Mm,
So most of the points we discussed about. Uh,
Tikshna.
so the other challenge is, go ahead.
Yeah. No, the Tikshna point we have already discussed. That's what I say.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing is that I don't know how critical it is for the Test Championship, the West
Mm,
Indies Zimbabwe Test Series, but
mm,
it's extremely important for both these individual teams for their sustainable Test status.
mm.
So a lot of the West Indian players would return for the Test series if they are called upon by WICB.
Yeah, that's the biggest question for a lot of seasoned fantasy players who have taken the likes of Alzari Joseph, Jason Holder, and Kyle Mayers in their team. What will WICB do, West Indies Cricket Board do with those players?
Yeah. So with that, let's quickly we discussed quite a bit about about the venue, Kingsmead, Durban. Let's look at some more information about the venue. So if
Mm,
you look at the average second inning score, it's only 124. So
yeah,
obviously the teams batting first have got a huge advantage on
true.
this venue.
Mm. Six hitting is, I think, for the par score is low, and you cannot find boundaries easily. You need par at this ground, par to clear the boundaries and not necessarily find gaps, because you're not going to get a lot of force at this venue. It has to be success. You'll have to have the raw power to clear the fields.
Yeah. And very very lot of similarities between Paul Durban and Port Elizabeth, in terms of number of sixes hit in the second innings, all
Yeah.
in the three decimals, 3 point somethings.
Mm. Yeah. Scoring gets difficult as the innings progresses, which is very typical of these spinner friendly decks.
And also, if you look at the boundaries, the force department again, look at the number for Kingsmead Durban, it's just 8.1.
Mm.
um, Centurion, barely makes it to 10, 9.9, but except Durban, every other deck, at least they do well in the force department, if not in the success department.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a factor here.
Yeah. So again, wickets lost again in the second innings. The batting gets difficult. So you have that sheet open here. So if you look at Durban second innings, it's all red.
Yeah,
Which is winning the toss would be crucial today.
yeah. It's and it will be a no-brainer. Yesterday, as it was for chasing for those two captains. Today, whoever wins the toss will just blindly select batting first.
Yeah. So let's go to the match sheet and look at the matchups
Mm.
quickly. So yeah, we just spoke about Malan having a challenge against left arm spin, and it could be an alert for Keshav Maharaj if he opens the bowling today.
Yeah, I think as we speak about it, Faf du Plessis has won the toss and he'll be batting first, which is no surprise.
Okay.
JSK batting first.
So then let's quickly go into the fantasy team itself before
Mm,
we discuss the notes, so that we can finish this for the subscribers of covers of Al.
mm,
So
mm,
Harmer and Maharaj, no surprises there.
mm.
So
And Topley as well. If these guys are not taking wickets, then the wickets are going to go to the Pacers. And with Pretorius and Holder, you also get all-round value as well. So a lot of
yeah,
these picks are self-explanatory. And what
yeah,
happens after that? This is something we didn't have for BBL because of the changes in the playing 11 and the new setups. We're not sure how to proceed it without the playing 11s and the toss. So we are waiting for the toss and playing 11s to be completed to announce the remaining six picks.
yeah. In yesterday's playing 11, Mumbai, came sprang a surprise with opening with Bravis. We were not expecting that, and what an innings he played.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we talked about it. There is this attempt that's happening in the domestic circuit to convert him into an opener, even though he's someone who's more suited to the middle order role. But wow, that was quite an innings.
It was an amazing innings. So it looks like the 11 is not out yet. So
Hmm.
Faf is saying they're going to bat a typical Durban, get slower.
Hmm. Hmm.
All teams haven't had time to prepare. He says Riza Hendricks, Janiman Malan, and Verena. So the commentators, they kept saying Verena, Verena. That's how his name is pronounced, I would imagine. And I was like, okay,
Yeah,
so Reina back in the field is what I was thinking when playing the South Africa series, the Australia series.
yeah. I think
Reina sounds
phonetically.
like Reina. So there's another Reina playing for Super Kings.
Yeah,
The Reina. So he should be Chinnathala then. So we back to the fantasy sheet. Still waiting for 11 to fill out the batters, right?
yeah. And going by
So
what
let's keep
happened
an eye
yesterday,
out.
it's going to take 5 minutes at
Yeah,
least.
right. So Decock says they were anyway going to bowl. Might be a drive, might be some spin. You were right. He's picked three spinners. Topley is not playing tonight.
Interesting.
A lot of guys are saying it's a tougher to bat at this time of the evening. So even though you were not saying Super Kings were favorites, making them batting first makes them favorites straight away unless their batting collapses.
Yeah, at least it evens up the game in a way that if Super Kings are at their best, maybe they do have a solid batting order. If they can negotiate Maharaj and get to 145 or 150, then it could be an even Stevens game.
Yeah. So all they have to do is put on a par score of 140.
Hmm. And with these
But
decks, we know what happens. Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes when you know there is a par score in the first innings, that makes the team batting first itself like they're chasing a score because they need to
Hmm.
post a par score.
Yeah.
that puts enough pressure on their batters straight away.
Mm.
So, and if Decock were to open with spin, that would be an interesting move. Since he's got three spinners, anyways, he has to get 12
It'll be
overs between
interesting
them.
to see who is the third spinner. I think it could be Akila Dhananjay. It offers them a variety. To have a subcontinental spinner in the squad, I think it will be really tempting to play him on a deck like this.
So, how many away players can they play in the 11?
Four. They've literally taken everything from IPL, so it's four.
Okay. Two teams have read the conditions differently. We'll have to see who gets their assessment right. I don't think they've get the conditions differently. No, because Faf also says it's going to be a slower pitch, and Dickok says
Yeah.
it's going to turn dry. So interesting. So in the meantime, let's as we wait, let me connect my phone. So we have a cash contest on Fanex today as well.
Mm.
Let me connect my connect my phone and share my screen. Just give me 1 second. Meantime, I'll also keep an eye if the 11 is announced. For some reason, my phone is not getting detected. Let's see if the 11 is announced. Very interesting. So you like you said, they do not bring the 11 to the task.
Yeah, they'll bring 13
They
players and they'll
usually the captains will have a sheet of.
yeah they'll bring
Okay.
13 players in the sheet and depends on whether they win the toss or lose the toss. They'll decide what they're doing. Who's the final 11 going to be? So
Okay.
Johannesburg
So
Super
that
Kings
flexibility is given. Okay.
11 is out. It's on Cricinfo and it's very much along the expected lines. I think someone big is missing. I'll have to find out who it is.
So let me open quick info.
Suboto is playing. Suboto and which was it? Yeah, Gerald Coetzee is missing. Coetzee is missing and Louis Duploy. Interesting. They don't
Yeah,
even have a
Ferreira is playing.
hmm,
Yeah, Shepherd.
Louis Duploy is missing. They don't even have a single left-hander in their top six unless they promote George Garten. It's an interesting decision.
All right. So I'll go back to the fantasy sheet. Maybe you can fill out Joburg.
Mm. Durban Supergiants is out. Simon Harmer is not playing. Interesting. They're playing Akila Jananjaya, Prenalan Subrayan, and Keshav Maharaj. Think I'll go in.
Hey, Al.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if you want to kill the video at your end, like what I have done, because we seem to be having some internet issues again.
Mm-mm-mm. Okay. I've disabled the camera. Maybe we can share the screen.
Sure. So let me go to the, yeah.
I'm just choosing my 11. Once I'm done with it, I'll update it on the
Sure.
holder. Holder playing. Holder is playing. Good. Shepherd.
Meantime, I'll troubleshoot my phone issue.
Hmm. Oh, Kima Paul is also playing. Why does it show that he's playing? Can't see him. He's not playing. Pretorius. Jason Holder. Mario Shepard. Okay. Quentin Decock. Faf Duplessis. Hendricks. Mayers. John Eman Malan. No, thank you. Okay. Am I going to bowl first? Johannesburg batting. So, Dwayne Pretorius should be one. Kimopol is playing. What the hell? Cricket info is showing Malusi, Kimopol, Jason Oduor is not playing. Dwayne Pretorius.
Yeah, the Durban Super Kings 11 is also Dhananjay, Akila Dhananjay is playing.
Hmm.
So he's the third spinner. They're not playing armor.
Hmm.
And back to the sheet. So do you have? I think you have access to the sheet, right, Al? The one which
Hmm.
has the fantasy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So done this and start. Is it reflecting the changes that I've made? The sheet. Should we share the sheet or I can share it directly as well?
Okay.
Carton.
You can start making edits, or you can tell me the names again.
Making the
Now
changes. I hope
now
that's
it's
reflect.
playing.
Aljariju.
Yeah, it's
Aljariju.
reflecting. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. Four. Romario Shepherd. Riza Hendricks. Faf Duplessis. Kyle Mayers. Quinton Decock. So that's it. I'll share this to our pre-season subscribers as well.
Yeah. So Simon Harmer, is he playing? I
I,
think
he,
Subrayan is playing.
he's not playing. I think it's
He's not playing. So you need to.
Subrian is playing. That's confirmed. Yeah.
I have to change him.
Okay. It's Subrian actually. Yeah,
Al, are you
I
there?
just posted it on the app. I think we can.
Yeah. So here on the so Brian comes in. So it's Kesam Magaraj, Subrian, Garton, Alzari Joseph, Wayne Pretorius,
Mm,
Jason Holder, Mario Shepard, Reza Hendricks, Faf Duplessis,
mm,
Kyle Mayers, and Quinton Deca, QDK, the superstar.
uh,
So that's the 11 for the day.
mm.
Who was the captain, vice
Uh,
captain?
Hold on. I think I've. Yeah, it's not Subrayan actually. I've selected Aquila Dhananjaya. Okay. So my captain would be Maharaj. I don't want to make any compromises here. It would be a great day for him. And vice captain would be Jason Holder or Dwayne Pretorius. Both good options to have.
Excellent. So Dhananjaya replaces Subrian in the Fantasy 11
Mm,
picked by Al. So now we have only 6 minutes to go. So let's quickly talk about FanX. I'm not able to connect my
mm,
phone. So there is a contest for a total prize pool of 2,500 rupees.
mm,
It's getting filled in fast. There are still about 100 slots left.
mm.
So you just have to pick it's a difficult one to pick the player who hit the maximum number of sixers,
Yeah.
given that this ground has got a notorious statistic that only three
Yeah.
point on sixes are hit on the second inning.
Mm,
So who
mm.
would be a pick, Al?
I think it's going to be a really difficult one. Maybe I think I'm still going to go. Someone like I think I'll go with Faf because he's in form, and when on a deck that the opposition doesn't have left arm pace, there is no assistance for new ball as well. I think I'll still favor Faf to deliver here, and yeah, that would be my pick for most number of sixes.
Uh, Fab for most number of sixes. How about the run scored?
Run scored, I think it'll have to be again between Faf du Plessis and someone like even Quinton de Kock. I'll again stick with Faf du Plessis.
Because they're batting first, so
Mm,
definitely have an advantage.
mm.
So for sixers and runs, both Faf. And for wickets, whom do you go with?
My
Fancy Maharaj.
daily fantasy captain for the day, Maharaj.
Yeah, that's what even I thought. Talking to you, starting to get slightly good at making the guesses based on the deck and the discussion that you've been having about every game. It's
Mm,
been a fantastic opportunity for fans like me to get a lot more involved with the game, go a bit more deeper, and even the respective whether you're playing fantasy or not.
mm,
To get such a 360-degree understanding about the venue, about the teams, makes
mm.
the viewing experience of the game much greater.
Yeah. I think our numbers have already made a difference. People are starting to see it. The way that we have dissected these venues gives them an improved understanding of what is going to happen in these games.
Yeah. So just 3 minutes to go for the game. Looking forward to another exciting game today, Al. So thank you
Mm,
so much for joining the discussion with me.
sure, count.
Looking forward to talking to you again tomorrow.
Yeah, same here, count.
All right, Al. You have a good one. Bye.
Mm, bye.